Today, Marilyn Kapankol, Director, Electric Power Industry Management Bureau, Department of Energy. She's with us. We'd like to welcome her on the dais to give the keynote address on energy.
Good morning, everyone. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Well, first of all, Mr. Edward Butler, General Manager, Terrapin, Singapore, Chairman J.K. Mehta, Regional Manager, Asia, World Energy Council, distinguished guests, colleagues in the energy sector, guests, good morning. First of all, I would like to extend our appreciation to the Terrapin for inviting the Department of Energy in providing what is the long-term solution to the Philippine energy needs. This is actually an opportune time for us to share with you the plans, program, and the sector development that we have so far, and as we move towards a competitive electricity market. The EPIRA, or the Electric Power Industry Reform Act of 2001, has delegated to the private sector the mandate to install the needed generation facilities to produce the electricity needed to meet the country's power demand. So for this morning, we would like to share with you our presentation on the outlook and the 2015 power situation, the actual we had, the committed and indicative power projects, and the plans and programs that the Department of Energy is spearheading in collaboration with the industry stakeholders. Next slide, please. So what is shown in the chart is our projected Luzon demand supply outlook for 2015 to 2020. Most of you may have seen this, and given the projected required capacity of about 300 to 400 megawatt annually for the next 5 years, it has become a challenge, particularly for the Department of Energy, in how to ensure that there is adequate supply for the country, or particularly for the Luzon. You can see in the slide various projects that went online or scheduled to be in commercial operation from 2015, 2016, 17, and 19. And what is critical, we're looking at 2016, if not all the committed power projects will be realized. Next slide, please. So on the slide is the actual power supply demand situation from January to May 31 of this year. As you may notice, there have been a lot of forced outages. So what are the forced outages? These are the unforeseen or sudden breakdown of power plants that affected the supply. Fortunately, the demand was low because of the cold weather. And even though there was a 30-day Malampaya turnaround, which limited the generation capability, particularly of the 1,200 Ilihan Nat Gas Power Plant, we were not able to experience even yellow alert or below the contingency level. Next on the slide is the additional capacity that we have recorded from January 2014 to May 2015. As you can see, there is around 810 megawatt of additional capacity, 41 of which are coming from renewable energy, or an equivalent of about 333 megawatts. Next, for the power development projects, we have listed around 2,367 megawatt of committed capacity, We color-coded them. The gray one represents the coal-fired power projects. The yellow one represents the biomass. The green one represents the nat gas power project. The blue represents the hydro, and the light yellow represent the wind power projects. So all in all, there is about 2,367 megawatts of committed capacity from the planning horizon 2015 to 2020. Now we go to Visayas. This is the projection so far we have, and as you can see, even now, Visayas is really experiencing some already power shortage. In fact, right now they're having some manual load dropping because of sudden force outage of the largest power plant in Visayas. Annual capacity requirement is about 120 megawatt from 2015 to 2020, and we're projecting the highest 8% annual growth rate during this period. For the actual power situation, you can see that there had been a lot of force outages, as I mentioned earlier. In fact, there were occurrence of a partial blackout in the grid last February 19 and in Panay Island last April 20 due to sudden tripping of power plant in Panay. So maximum demand that was recorded was about 1,617, and you can see at the bottom the power plants that went on force outage. Next would be the committed power plants in the Visayas. So we have registered based on our, actually this is the additional capacity for the Visayas, totaling about 196 megawatts. So we have solar, geothermal, and bagas or biomass projects. For the Visayas committed capacity, we have around 442. We have coal-fired power projects, we have hydro, biomass, and wind projects. Next would be the Mindanao demand and supply outlook for 2015 to 2020. Annual requirement based on our estimate ranges about from 150 to 170 megawatts annually based on 8% demand growth rate. And you can see that starting next year, Mindanao will be having surplus capacity, but we would like to emphasize that contracting by the off-takers or distribution utility is important because they serve certain area or franchise area, and we don't have yet a spot market or wholesale market wherein excess capacities can be traded in the market. Next slide, please. Now, for the actual demand-supply situation in Mindanao, actually this is right now a problematic, having several manual load, red alerts, meaning generation availability is affected by availability of the large hydro and some of the power plant. But since 2013, the Department of Energy, together with the NEA, has been encouraging all distribution utilities, particularly the electric cooperatives, to contract additional capacity. In fact, in the next slide, you can see the initiatives of most of the distribution utilities. There are embedded power plants that came online, totaling about 219.4 megawatt. So these are the response of the distribution utility to the call of the Department of Energy to contract adequate supply of electricity for their respective franchise area. For the committed power projects, in Mindanao, we are looking at 2,000 megawatts of capacity. And It ranges from large coal-fired power plant, we have diesel, hydro, and biomass power project that is expected to come in line until 2020. The next slide represents the energy sector development plans and programs that the department is currently undertaken. We have the market-driven policies, transparency initiatives, investment promotion initiative, and specific concerns to address or to promote certain technology. Now, for the market-driven policies, we are now undergoing talks or discussion with the Energy Regulatory Commission on the policy framework for retail competition and open access. This is the second level wherein 500 to 750 kilowatt customers will be declared as contestable customer, and they would be able to select or choose their own power supplier. Next is currently at the stage, there are 1 megawatt and up customers that are still remaining under the service of the respective franchise holders. But soon, the Department of Energy will declare a policy on mandatory contestability, meaning all contestable customer 1 megawatt and up will be mandated to contract out and source their power supplier from the retail suppliers. And one innovative solution we are looking at is to allow the generation company, particularly the prospective generation company, to build their plant. So if we prescribe a certain date wherein all contestable customers that are still currently being served by the distribution utility, they can contract out with a prospective generator, and they will be considered as compliant with the policy. And this is in discussion with the Energy Regulatory Commission. So we will monitor the contract that a contestable customer would enter into with a prospective generating capacity who is currently either installing a power plant or buying additional capacity for its power plant to venture into retail business. Other initiatives that we're doing is to standardize the power supply agreement between the distribution utilities and the power producers or generators. Example is prescribing a fixed downtime for a particular generation facility to go offline. Because currently, it's varying from 30 days to 60 days. And whenever there is a problem on the power plant, the source of additional power is coming from WESM or some other sources of electricity. Now, another provision that we're looking at is a walkaway provision, wherein if the generator is not able to comply with its requirement, then it can void the contract it has entered into. Another policy that we're looking is to incorporate replacement power or penalty fixture for power supply contracts, because right now most of the power supply agreement does not have replacement power provision or a penalty provision for non-delivery of power as contracted. There have been studies now on the WESM on how we'll be able to further enhance the design and the implementation. And the Philippine Electricity Market Corporation has already contracted a consultant to study on this, and we have studied the proposal, and we're now in discussion with the WESM or the PEMC on how we will implement the major rules changes. Next would be, aside from adding additional capacity, we're looking at enhancing or strengthening demand-side management through the interruptible load program and energy efficiency. Next slide, please. On other market-driven policies, we have implemented the first-come, first-served basis for feed-in tariff entitlement. This is to fast-track and hasten the installation of RE energy power projects in the country. And then the Secretary has initiated the streamlining of the renewable energy service contract application to 45 days. We are now developing a policy in maintaining the share of renewable energy of 30% based on the installed power generation capacity. Next would be defining the energy mix, the renewable portfolio standard, and the RE market policy following this mandated 30% RE share in the generation. For the transparency initiative, as you all know, we have institutionalized website providing information to the power industry stakeholders. And right now we're doing a finalization of a policy on customer competitive selection and choice program. This is actually the demand aggregation and supply auctioning policy that we have undergone public consultation. For other renewable activity, we have opened the competitive selection for the geothermal and hydropower projects and the ongoing PECR or Philippine Energy Contracting Round number 5. As to the investment promotions, our investment promotion office has been assigned by the Secretary to assist all investors and developers by assigning dedicated personnel to address their needs in securing government permits and licenses. And currently, we're developing online application and monitoring for the selected processes. One of which right now actually is the launching of the Energy Virtual One Shared System, wherein the Department of Energy will be able to keep track of all the progress of a certain application by a power developer or a project proponent. Next slide just represent the number of projects that we have so far under the current administration, totaling about 60 power projects with a total of 5,245 megawatt of capacity. The next is on the specific concern, which is the feed-in tariff. Based on the monitoring in the slide, you can saw the tabulation of the status of our installation target. As you know, we have amended the solar energy infrastructure installation target from 50 to 500 megawatt and for wind 200 to 400 megawatt. The Energy Regulatory Commission has prescribed the feed-in tariff for the next 450 megawatt of solar power project. And lastly, due to limited time, what we're saying is that the challenge we have so far is to attain security of power supply. And it is compared to a chain wherein it is as strong as its weakest link. So reliability of supply is dictated by the most unreliable service provider. So as you can see in the power sector, we have the generation, transmission, distribution, and supply. And all of each of its sector has its own problems and challenges. So we would like to encourage the stakeholders to continue partnering with the Department of Energy and proposing measures on how we will be able to make the power industry more efficient and reliable. Again, on behalf of Undersecretary Zenaida Monsada, this is Maylene Kapongkol from the Power Bureau. Thank you and good morning.